guys, so it is Sunday night, I think going on 11 o'clock right now. So today was actually the last day of the Royal Weekender, but now I'm starting my Owls vlog, my first week for Owls, even though it's still only the 29th of March. I just kind of wanted to come on here to tell you guys kind of how I plan my week to go, because since the Owls starts on Wednesday, I do have a couple books that I am going to be trying to finish up and or kind of continue with within the next couple of days before the Owls officially start. And I really didn't want to start this vlog on a Wednesday. What I have planned for basically Monday and Tuesday for this week is I had to get the audiobook version of Bitter Blood by Rachel Caine. I thought I had the Kindle version, but I guess I had only a sample of it for some reason, and then I had to contact my grandmother because this was a series that I've said many times that she and I read, so I thought maybe she had a physical copy of it that I could get, because I'm gonna have to get my physical copy of Dr. Sleep from my mom so that I can read that at some point during the month for my Stephen King reading series, and my grandma said she didn't have it, so that took me by surprise. More than likely it is on her Kindle, because I remember at one point when we were reading the series together, I had to borrow her Kindle to read one of the last few books in the series, so I think it might have been that one. So I looked around on Overdrive, and my Overdrive that is hooked up to my library does not have it. So my last resort was going to Audible and pulling in a free trial that I knew I had sitting waiting for me. So I got Bitter Blood and I got 2 of the Audible originals for this month. There's no way I'm keeping that. I am not going to pay $15 a month for Audible, but I'm happy now that I actually have a copy of Bitter Blood, whether it's, physical, ebook, or audio. I started listening to that. I'm in the middle of chapter 2, and I think I'm gonna finish that up tonight before I officially go to sleep, because I don't like really stopping in the middle of chapters. I really only did because I was watching a video on my phone. Other than that, I am still working through The Dirty Streets of Heaven by Tad Williams, which is a book that I talked about with you guys in my Royal Weekender vlog. Basically, I started it on Friday because I was waiting for the Royal Weekender to start on Saturday, and I'm like 30 pages into that, and I want to try to finish it before the end of the month. That's like my last book I really want to finish other than Bitter Blood. I'll probably finish Bitter Blood sometime tomorrow, because since it's my audiobook right now, I can listen to it while I'm working. And right now we are going on week 3 of quarantine, stay at home, whatever the hell you want to call it here in Michigan. I did go, though, just see that it's possible that this stay-at-home thing is going to go until at least the end of April, which is really disappointing because Robert and I, like I said, have been trying to get a house because we are having our lease for our apartment go up May 9th. That is the last day we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be moved out, essentially, and it's so difficult to try and do house hunting right now because we actually can't go meet anybody. We're not supposed to. This house that we're going to be applying for is 3-bedroom, 1 bath. It actually has like all the space we need. I think it's going to work perfectly for what we have, because we can have a separate room for our office, which would have like our desks and our computer, but then it also has a space where I could put like all my bookshelves and have like a dedicated library of sorts, which makes me really happy because I've always really wanted that. And I know that Robert was really hoping that I could get something like that going on, because don't get me wrong, my library I have set up now is very nice. I really like how it's come together, and I really liked how I set it up when we first moved. And then I got my reading nook set up here, which was really sweet that Robert helped me build at the beginning of the year this year. I'm just really excited, though, the fact that I get to have a whole room to myself for that purpose. But we still haven't even really applied. We filled out the paperwork. I have to go drop it off tomorrow. So I'm thinking, though, that it's very likely we could get this house. It's just going to be a matter of them going through the paperwork and stuff. I know that a lot of times in my vlogs I sit and talk for like 10 minutes about what's been going on, but there's a lot of stuff that's currently happening, and I want you guys to know like what's going on, especially with me, because I know that everyone worries about each other when it comes to things like this with this virus that's been going around. I've been able, like I said, to stay working from home. That's kind of what I've been doing now for the last 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks. Robert, unfortunately, works in a food processing manufacturing plant kind of thing. So he's been deemed an essential worker. My younger sister, her normal job actually ended up having to close down because of the virus, and so she had to get a second job. And pretty much everyone I know that had their places of work shut down without any idea of if they were opening back up had to find another job. And so they had to go to like the local grocery stores, which is where my sister's at now. And she really just started last week and has already been told that she's going to be getting $2 more or something like that because of this hazard pay thing. And Robert was told that he was going to get something similar to that, but he doesn't know when that's going to go into effect. I kind of hate the fact, though, that he has to work only because it does put us at more of a risk for getting sick, but I guess they've been really cracking down at this factory about people being sick and stuff like that. I'm grateful, though, that I don't feel like I'm going necessarily stir crazy at the moment. I know a lot of people are getting really frustrated because most people are really used to being out and about. For a massive introvert like myself, someone who feels like they gain more energy by being at home and they are more comfortable being at home with things that they deem to be kind of their space and kind of the things that they draw on. It's easier for me because I prefer being home. Like, if I was able to work from home indefinitely, I would much more prefer it because I have more flexibility, I think, in doing a lot of things, like doing my YouTube videos. And especially for me, my issue I have with where my office is currently is I have to drive 40 minutes normally to work and then 40 minutes back. So the fact that I don't have to worry about that frees my mind up to being able to do more things over the course of the day that I probably wouldn't normally do. And then on top of that, I am in the middle of so many different things during my workday. And my work is so very safety conscientious that they almost like require you sometimes to do ergonomic based breaks for like 10, 15 minutes sometimes. So I take those very, very seriously a lot of times because I tend to have back issues sometimes if I sit for too long in one spot. So I've been able to sit and read for a little bit and get my eyes off of my computer screen and get up and walk around because of these ergonomic breaks. And I have a little bit more liberty then too because I'm able to get up and walk around to maybe do some small household things like running the dishes here, cleaning up, picking up the pop cans, picking up trash that's around the apartment, straightening up areas that I feel like need to be decluttered or whatever, fixing the blankets in our little couch hovel that we have. Those little things that in the end make my state of mind much more easy to handle. And unfortunately, last weekend I had mentioned that during the Royal Weekender vlog that I had a bit of an emotional breakdown. It kind of had something to do with the fact that I was getting stir crazy in a sense, but only because, like I said, it's hindering me from being able to figure things out about a house for Robert and I. And that's just something that is incredibly out of my control, and really the only thing that is in my control at this point is applying for the house and getting the information sent out to the realtor. And then I also can contact my leasing office about what exactly they can do for people that are trying to figure out how to move, but they can't because there's no ability for us to go actually out and house hunt. So that's one of the things I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to call the office and ask about what are they going to do for people that are looking for houses or looking for places to live off of this area, but they are not able to actually go do these things because of the stay-at-home thing. And I know that especially the manager there, I feel like I've got a very good relationship with. We've had not really any issues going on in the past, but the manager and I, for some reason, she's taken a real liking to me. She really likes Robert as well, so we've always had a good relationship with her. So I think that it would be possible for her to find something that can work for both of us, or she'd be willing to help us with understanding what we can do to help ourselves in the event that we can't find something by the time our lease goes up. Tomorrow, after I finish work though, I am going to drive with my friend Ryan out to the town that we're going to be living in, which is also the town where I work, to drop off the application and the fee that we have for these applications at the office of the realtor. I'm doing better than I was this past weekend. I feel like I'm feeling more like myself. This evening I did a facial. It's probably why you see like my skin is a little glowy or dewy. Like I did a facial tonight. I had some tea and I'm going to be going to bed here soon, but I did want to kind of quickly go over some of the things that I will be reading, because by the time this video goes out, my April TBR will have already gone out. I feel like I should just quickly run through what exactly I have on my TBR. I've got a long list of books essentially that I'm planning on reading for the entire month of April, but I'm going to quickly go over the ones I'm only specifically reading for owls. So the first one is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Buxbaum. I don't think I showed you guys this yet, but I did get one of those cool little library carts at Michael's. I finally caved and grabbed one because this was on sale for like half off. I think it was like $25, and I could not resist not getting one. So I have a library cart now and I'm so excited. I didn't put the wheels on it though because we have carpet in the entirety of this apartment, so I didn't feel like the wheels were necessary, but when we go to move, there's definitely going to be wheels on this, and there's going to be some books that are going to come on here which will help with the moving process. I'm doing the librarian career this round. Last year I did the journalist writer one, and this time I felt like librarian was also something that I would have actually done if I was to be in the Harry Potter world, because for the longest time actually I wanted to be in real life a librarian, and so I felt like this was a really great thing to do. This is counting for my ancient runes owl that I need, which the prompt was to have a book that has a heart on the cover or in the title, and as you can see there's like portions of a waffle heart and then a full waffle heart right here. So the next book I have is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, and this is for my arithmancy prompt, which is to have a book that is outside of my favorite genre, which my favorite genre is fantasy, and so this is a contemporary. The next book I have is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This is for my Defense Against the Dark Arts class, which is to have a book that's either set at the sea or on the coast. Now, I'm not entirely sure where this one is, but from what I could gather of what people have said about the story and different synopses that I have found on this, it seemed like this story kind of takes more place on a coast, because the map of the world essentially has a certain kingdom that is mentioned in a synopsis I had found, where this kingdom right here, it's set on like the coastline of this country, and I think that this book more so focuses on that area, or it is somewhere involved in it. So I hope that that's the case. I really don't know what else I have at the moment that would be set at the sea or a coast. The only one I can think of is The Siren by Kira Cass, and I already have read that, and so I don't think I have anything else really that is the same. But if you have any suggestions for stories that are set at the sea or on the coast, let me know, so that in case Wicked Saints doesn't work for that, I can find something else. The next book I have is The Black Witch by Lori Forrest. This is for my History of Magic class, where I have to read a book that involves either witches or wizards, and as it says in the title, it has to do with witches. The next book I have is The End of Oz by Danielle Page. This is the fourth book in the Dorothy Must Die series. I read book 3 actually during the Royal Weekender, and I really enjoyed it, and this is actually already a series I had been planning to try to finish. I decided I was going to try to finish it. I think at the end of like 2019, it was going to be one of the first series I was going to actively try to finish at some point, but this one is going to be for my Transfiguration class, which has the prompt of having something that includes shape-shifting, and there is a character that actually is involved in this story that we've met in Yellow Brick War, which was book 3, that is a shapeshifter of sorts. So I'm really happy that I was able to get something that was already going to be on my TBR to fit for this. Everything else not so much. So then with this round, there are training seminars or something along those lines that you're able to do if you choose to. For this round, I decided I was going to do animagus training because I think it would be really cool to be able to shapeshift into something. I really just like the idea of being an animagus. It was something that I thought was so fascinating about the Harry Potter series when it had come up in Prisoner of Azkaban. But for this one, you need to have your owls for arithmancy, potions, and transfiguration. And according to what G said, if you've already done the class that is needed for your training for your actual owls, you don't have to do them again. So that makes things a lot easier for me, because then I only need to do potions, which is to read something under 150 pages. And for this, I'm going to pick up Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. The only other book I haven't mentioned that I forgot about until just now is I am still working through Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. I am like almost 500 pages into that one. Like, I only have a few sections of that left. I think if I remember correctly, I'm going to be trying to finish that by reading a section a day by the end of this coming week, so that's really nice. So I'm really excited because I actually really like that book a lot. I feel like it's really interesting since I am a very big fan of the Song of Ice and Fire series, and I feel like it's very, very fun to read since I'm so invested in the world. So I don't know how much I'm gonna really update until the 1st of April when the whole Owls starts, really. I think I'll just give you guys updates on how I'm doing with the other books I'm working on. Anyway, I am going to pick up my books here and fix my library cart that's now slightly disheveled, and I will just talk to you guys tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It is about 9 o'clock right now. It's just after 9, and I've been working for about an hour now. I have a lot of stuff that I have to do with work, so I'm going to try to make this quick. So this morning, I so far haven't really been doing any reading. I've just been listening to YouTube videos just to like zone out as I work on some of these more attention needed requests that I have to do for work. And then when I can get to like my normal project that I'm working on at the moment, I say normal, it's just a really huge project that doesn't take nearly as much brain power sometimes. I'm going to switch over to listening to more of Bitter Blood on my phone. I listened to about like an hour and a half or so of the audiobook last night. Will probably also be reading Fire and Blood on my ergonomic breaks. My goal is to finish Bitter Blood, get through more of Fire and Blood, and get through more of the Dirty Streets of Heaven, and finish the Dirty Streets of Heaven tomorrow. Hey guys, so it's just after 1 o'clock right now, and I just finished up with my lunch break, and I'm going to be getting back to work here very, very soon, but I've been in communication with somebody on a project that we're going to have a meeting for possibly tomorrow, and so I just took a little bit of a break from what I was doing. But I have so far read 35 pages of Fire and Blood while doing my ergonomic breaks, and I read a little bit more on my lunch. While I was on my lunch, though, too, I had to call the leasing office of my apartment to find out some information on things regarding the fact that we're trying to house hunt. My brain is absolutely fried today because I have been working on this project for now going on 2 weeks, I think, and it is slow going because I'm the only one really that's doing it at the moment, because everybody on my team has 50 million projects going on at one time, and I do as well. And so it's like every time I feel like I'm getting in a groove with working on this project, I have 3 other things that come up that need my attention, and they're kind of more important, really. And so it's been slow going. Like, we basically had like 900 documents that needed to be given titles and descriptions for the documents that would be used on the website, and we have to load them to the website. And the loading process also takes quite a bit of time because people, since they're working from home, it's harder for our website thing that we use to load our documents to. It takes a long time for it to actually work, as opposed to if we were all at the office. So it's just been very, very slow going. I'm not even quite halfway done, I think, with everything, and I have like so many other things I have to do today. And like I said, I just got in communication with somebody for a different project I'm working on, my copywriting project, and we have a meeting that is probably going to get scheduled for tomorrow morning to try to wrap something up and make some fine tuning adjustments on the presentation that I'm working on so that it can go out like later this week, because there is a rush for it to go out by the end of this week. I have been getting through more of Bitter Blood though. I think I'm not halfway through it by any means, but I've been listening to it quite a bit. I think I've got through like a few more hours of it, listening to it on 2x speed, and I'm going to continue listening to it as I work. I also have YouTube videos playing on in the background just to get through my watch later playlist and have something else in the background for like, especially when my audiobook, I stop it before my ergonomic break hits. Usually within like 15 minutes of my ergonomic break hitting, I stop my audiobook, because usually I end up, if I don't do that, I end up stopping in the middle of a chapter, and I really hate that. So it's always nice to have the YouTube videos playing so that I have something to listen to while I'm working. I did upload this morning my Royal Weekender vlog, and I've got most of the footage so far that I've done on my Google Drive, and I've been downloading it to my laptop as I go to try to keep the space on my Google Drive open for more videos and stuff like that. I'm gonna probably read also The Dirty Streets of Heaven at some point today. I'm going to try to get to like the halfway point of that book and then finish it tomorrow so that I can finish that book by the end of March, and then I can start off on a clean slate with my Owls TBR. Good morning, guys. It is now 10 o'clock in the morning. I almost said at night. No, the sun is out. It's shining on me. It's morning. So I just got out of a meeting that I've been in for the last hour regarding my copywriting stuff. Things have not slowed down since yesterday. It's going to be another very busy day, I think, for me specifically, because I have another meeting in like an hour. But because I've been working like straight for the last like 2 hours, I'm going to take about a half-hour break, because typically every hour I take about 15-minute breaks for my ergonomic-based things and to take my eyes off of my computer screen. I didn't end up reading any more of The Dirty Streets of Heaven yesterday like I planned, because I was out taking the application for the house out, and my friend Ryan was with me. He actually ended up deciding to go back to his parents' house out there because he's from that area, and did laundry, and so we ended up staying and having dinner. And then I didn't actually get back home until about just after 8:30 at night, and then Robert had to leave for work around 10, so I decided to just sit and hang out with him for the rest of the night. And I was pretty tired with how the whole day had gone and the fact that I was gone for a few hours, but it was kind of nice that I wasn't just 40 minutes away from home for nothing. Like, I went out and did the application drop, and then I actually got to sit and hang out with Ryan and his family, which was really nice. Today, I was going to read Fire and Blood at first, like I normally do when I have my ergonomic breaks, but because I really want to try to finish The Dirty Streets of Heaven today, I think I'm going to use this as my focus, and then once my break is up, I will start listening to more of Bitter Blood and try to finish that as well today. I don't know what's going to happen today. I don't have anything else planned after work like I did yesterday, so I think that today is going to be a pretty chill night. Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. It's the first day of the Owls, which is super exciting. So I just started up with work today, but before I got started with my very tedious work day today, since I'm just working on my big project I've been working on really for the last couple weeks, I thought I would update you guys with what I decided to do with The Dirty Streets of Heaven. So unfortunately, I did decide to DNF this about 137 pages in, because although it's really nice, I kind of really like what the story's doing and it's actually really good, I'm just not really in the mood, I think, for this kind of a book, and I'm not really too concerned with it in terms of continuing it while I have my Owls books that I want to get through. So because the stay-at-home initiative is going on until April 30th, I will have a lot of time to get back to this one, so I think I'm going to at least hold on to it and possibly get back to this one sometime probably after the Owls, maybe immediately after, and kind of pick back up where I left off. So the first book I will be reading, though, for the Owls is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Buxbaum. This is my book for Ancient Runes, which is to read a book with a heart in the title or cover. This follows a high school junior named Jessie who essentially lost her mother. Her mother passed away, and then her father remarried a woman that he met online. She's whisked off basically to the LA area, and she is not happy about it by any means. She's not happy that her dad remarried. She's not happy that she had to be moved all the way across the country. Then essentially she gets an email from someone who calls themselves Somebody Nobody, or SN for short, and basically is offering to help Jessie get through her time at this school, but she doesn't know who they are. She tries to find out some more about who they are, but it may be possible that the secret of who this person is better to have stayed buried. I was going last night to film my March wrap-up and April TBR, but I was not feeling well yesterday. Towards the tail end of work, I got like a really bad headache, and then I started getting a stomach ache because unfortunately up here we've been getting a lot of rain, and the thing is like when there's a lot of pressure built up in the air, and especially if there's been a lot of rain within like several days, I will tend to get pretty bad headaches and stomach aches. I don't know why, I just do. I do plan on filming my videos today after I finish up work today, so I should hopefully get those out sometime this week, I think. I also am going to be filming my review for Bitter Blood because I did finish that yesterday and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Bitter Blood was good. I think liked it a lot more than I expected, but there was an element that came up that I thought was something that would have happened earlier in the series and I was just wrong. It wasn't nearly as big as I remember it being as a part of the book. I thought that it had a much bigger role, and don't get me wrong, it actually kind of did. It had a huge impact in something that happened at the very end of the book, but for some reason I thought that that element was a lot more delved into than it actually was, but it was still really good. I also just feel like that this one was fine. There just wasn't really a whole lot in it, and I feel like what there was really good. Plot-wise, there wasn't really a whole heck of a lot that happened. It kind of was another one of those stories where after this big event, it's basically a picking up the pieces kind of story. There's 2 more books in the series at this point, so we should be finishing up this series in May. The next book brings up another kind of bad guy that is probably the hardest one they're going to have to face, because they're a type of vampire that essentially is like unknown to the vampires in this community. Like the founder has no idea how these vampires came to be, and it's going to cause some major problems in the community. So I'm really excited for these last 2 books because this was what I think was one of my more favorite parts of the series when I was reading it in high school. Yeah, got an egg boy. I'm honestly loving this update so far. I didn't even realize that this update was made. I thought people were just saying that it was done on Twitter for everyone that's able to do it online, but unlike me, I can't do that. So I'm so happy. Hey guys, so it is, I think, going on probably 10:45 or so this evening. Earlier today, I did film a few videos, and I was actually not feeling very well earlier today. Like, I was kind of getting the same thing I was having yesterday, where after work, my head was starting to hurt, my stomach was hurting, but thankfully after I took some Excedrin and then I think had some dinner, I've been starting to feel better. I just think that like the overall weather is not agreeing with me very well at the moment. I kind of feel like, especially too with that, and on top of that, working at a computer for 8 hours a day, it's making like my head really hurt. And during my work day today, I ended up getting through the first 95 pages of Tell Me Three Things by Julie Buxbaum. I'm kind of liking it so far. It's actually really fast to move through, and I think that before I go to bed, I'm gonna get to my goal for tonight, which was to get to about 168. I had a feeling it was gonna possibly be the stepbrother, because he seems like the kind of guy that like would be really mean to her at first, but would actually be really nice to her. But I think that there's too many weird things going on with that. For one, I believe that the stepbrother is either bisexual or gay, and so I don't know for sure if there is some kind of like romantic inkling. I don't think that this is going to be like a Clueless situation where the stepbrother is going to confess their love for their new stepsister. I highly doubt that. I don't think that that is the case. So I think that my other guess is going to be this guy, Ethan, who is a guy that Jessie, the main character, ends up having to partner up with in her AP English class for this project that's going to take over the entire, essentially, semester, because he seems to be pretty aloof. He seems to be pretty popular for the most part, but he's kind of one of those guys where he doesn't really like the idea, I think, that he's popular. And he seems to know a lot about how this whole system works. And there's some things that I think, in terms of the amount of detail he's able to give about what Jessie wears during the day, so that she knows that this person is aware of where she is and who she is, essentially. I have a feeling that it's going to be Ethan because of the fact that there's all these little things that I feel like he would catch on to more quickly, but I'm only 95 pages in. I could be completely wrong. It could be somebody completely out of left field, because there is a possible like other interest that's involved in here that we meet very briefly, who is the guy who essentially gets Jessie a job at a bookstore. So I don't know. There could be really anybody. I just really hope that it doesn't end up being something that's super predictable. I would be okay though, I think, if it was Ethan, because I do think Ethan is an interesting character. I'd like to see their kind of friendship grow a little more, and I'd like to see if there tends to be any kind of real connection making between the person that's emailing Jessie and Ethan. So I like it so far. I don't feel like it's really that bad. It's very fast to move through. I swear, like, this is the fastest I've gotten through a book in a day in a long time, because contemporaries for me, especially in the style that this is, where a lot of the story is built with emails and text messages along with actual prose, I feel like it just makes me feel like I'm going through the book so much more quick. So that's making me really happy. I feel like that it's so far going to be really good. I'm gonna say I don't think it's perfect. I think it's just, still fairly juvenile because it's younger. I think that I'm starting to get out of the young adult contemporary mindset. Now, in terms of like my fantasy interest, in terms of that, I think young adult is still complex enough in a lot of ways that I feel like I still connect with it in a lot of ways, but I just think that young adult contemporary, I am starting to move away from. I think I'm starting to just basically like adult contemporaries more, and I think I'm liking a lot more the adult contemporary romances. And I think that's because like there's just a little bit more sophistication within the adult ones. And then on top of that, I am no longer a young adult. I am a full-fledged adult. So I think that my reading tastes have kind of changed in a lot of the ways that is normal with growing up, and I just feel like that I don't connect nearly as much with the young adult idea of romance and things of that nature. So it's not that the book's bad by any means. It's not that it's awful in terms of the romantic aspect of it, which hasn't really happened at this point, but there's inklings of it. I just don't think that in my life at this point in time, I don't believe I connect any longer with the typical YA romantic idea, unless it's involved in something more complex, like a fantasy kind of thing. I try to finish this one tomorrow and then jump back into Fire and Blood and read a lot of that to get myself where I need to be. And I'm also gonna, I think, try tomorrow to edit my March wrap up and get that uploaded. But I also don't know what necessarily is going to be going on tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna be feeling, because like I said, the last couple days I felt really crappy after work. So I hope that that is not the case tomorrow. Okay, no joke though, but literally every single day for the last, I think, 2 weeks, or how long I've exactly been in quarantine, every day, sometime in the afternoon or like the late afternoon going into early evening, I hear a dog several floors down, probably 2 floors below my apartment, howling. And I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. I don't think it's loud enough for it to pick up on my phone. But it is so fucking sad. Every day this happens, where this dog, I guess their owner either has to leave for work or something. I don't freaking know. But every day this dog is sitting down there howling for like at least 3 hours and just crying and wanting, I guess, to be like either let out of a cage or play with somebody or just be around people, and it makes me so freaking sad because you know, I wanted my own dog. I mean, Kaya is not my dog, she is my mom's dog, and I miss her sometimes so much, but sometimes she can get a little much, especially when you're just trying to enjoy like your afternoon, just sit and watch TV. She doesn't like that. She always has to be either pet or she has to be paid attention to like 24 freaking 7. But I am like so desperate for my own dog because I get really lonely a lot of time, and with my anxiety and the stuff that's been happening over the last like few weeks, having a dog to just sit and scratch and play with and stuff would be so therapeutic for me. Like I feel like I just need a dog just to sit and snuggle with and just have that unconditional love from them. Like I just want to go downstairs to this dog and just play with it. That's all I want to do, but I can't because I don't know whose dog it is. I don't know anybody in this apartment complex, so I am so sad for this dog. I want this dog to play with something. Mostly so it'll stop howling, but because I know it's just sad because it's all alone. And I don't know necessarily what the situation is, like I said, if this person is going off to work or something, but it just makes me so freaking sad. I hate it. Okay guys, so I think it is probably going on like 4:30 or so right now. I exactly haven't checked the time, but I did just finish Tell Me Three Things by Julie Buxbaum. I loved this so much. It was so cute. I really found that I enjoyed this so much more than I expected I would. So I read basically the last half of this, which I think was about another 160 some pages, I think. I'm thinking it was close around to that, maybe 165 or something like that, but very, very fast read. Basically, the chain of events that led to the ending was very different than how I expected it was going to be, but it was so rewarding, and I do think that this is one of those stories where you have to understand that there is a little bit of darkness involved with it. There is a lot of talk about death and losing loved ones. There's also a trigger warning for substance abuse, as there is a character that is mentioned in this story that had died of a heroin overdose, and there also is another character in the story who is essentially addicted to pain medication. There also is a little bit of drinking involved if you're not really that fond of. It's not very much. It's just a couple scenes of basically some people having a few drinks at a small party kind of thing. But this story does really a lot on the idea of feeling alone, especially in a situation where your life is essentially picked up and moved somewhere else, and you're trying to have to essentially start over, especially after a very traumatic event. It's a very fun story because I think that like just the overall mystery of who the guy is that's talking to Jesse is incredibly intriguing. It was something that I think kept me going through the story. I'm not going to say who it is in the end, but I will say that it was a really, really great ending. I found it to be very endearing, and I am really happy essentially with how the whole story went. I don't feel like there were really many flaws with it other than the fact that I felt that it's just not necessarily, I think, the kind of story I would gravitate towards anymore because of the fact that I am now older. But that's not really a knock on anything that's happened in the story or anything I found to be really traumatic or troubling or anything like that. It was just, I realized that with this book, this is no longer the kind of stuff I am more apt to read. Anyway, I'm giving Tell Me Three Things 5 out of 5 stars. I think later tonight going to be picking back up Fire and Blood just for a little bit. I don't know when that's gonna happen though, because I think here in about maybe half an hour or so, Robert and I are gonna go outside because it is a beautiful day. It is so nice outside. The sky is actually super blue, and then we're gonna have dinner and finish off the 3rd season of Better Call Saul to catch myself back up with where I had gotten myself into the show, and then I think start Breaking Bad. So I probably won't pick this up until closer to this evening. Yeah, the next book though that I do want to read off of my Owls TBR is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Tell Me Three Things was going to complete my Ancient Runes course, which was to read a book with a heart on the cover or in the title, and With the Fire on High is going to be for my Arithmancy course, which is to read a book that is outside of my favorite genre. My favorite genre is fantasy. I find that I like that the most, and contemporary is basically the complete other side of that spectrum, so I think that this is going to be perfect. This is something that I've been really anticipating to read since last year because I loved The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I've heard that With the Fire on High is just as good, if not better. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday. It is about just after 10:30, and sadly today is a little bit more gloomier than it has been. We had a couple really nice days this past week, and then today it's just gonna be rainy again. Today I have a lot of stuff I gotta do. I'm going to my parents' house tonight. I'm just gonna basically go there to do laundry and stay overnight. They have been very isolated over the entirety of this virus thing, and they've been very good about taking care of themselves when they have to go out to get like groceries and stuff. So everybody in my house, as far as I know, is safe and is healthy. But I think what I'm gonna do this morning first is I have to get a few things done. First of all, I want to go through my Buddhism text again and start putting more things in my notebook. Today I also want to sit and edit a lot of videos. I want to at least get my March wrap up edited and uploaded, and then get my April TBR edited, uploaded, and scheduled for tomorrow. So as far as my reading though, I did read quite a bit of Fire and Blood. I didn't actually get though to With the Fire on High. I don't think I read quite 100 pages of Fire and Blood. I think that I got close to that. I think I'm gonna take my books and my Switch to my parents' house because I also want to play Animal Crossing at some point today. Okay, so it's about 12:30 right now. I've sat for the last probably like hour 45 minutes, almost 2 hours basically. I did go through my research as you guys saw, got that done for where I wanted to be today, and edited my March wrap up. It is currently exporting and should be done here in like the next couple minutes. I'm gonna upload that real quick, and then I think since I'm kind of on a roll for editing, I might continue that, and I might push off my writing until tonight when I get to my parents' house. I did order myself some lunch to be delivered, so I will probably get my April TBR edited while my wrap up is uploading to YouTube, and then I think I'll eat my lunch or eating as I edit, something like that. Okay, so it's about 1:40 in the afternoon. April TBR is done, so all I'm gonna really do, I think, is wait for this to export, upload it to YouTube and schedule it for tomorrow to go on about 8 a.m. I think, and then sit and edit the Bitter Blood review, then upload today and schedule for Monday. And with that, at 2:11, Bitter Blood review is edited, exported, uploaded, and scheduled for Monday. Hi, Kaya. Kaya. Can you say hi to everybody on YouTube? Say hi. Oh, so now that you know that you're being filmed, you're not gonna speak? Hey guys, so it is Sunday now. I just returned back to my apartment from my parents' house. I did do some reading, though. Last night I did end up reading about 50 pages of Fire and Blood. I got almost to where I wanted to be last night, but then it got to be like 11 o'clock and I was getting really tired, so I stopped. Today I did end up editing all of the chapters I needed to in my book to get me to where I needed to be this weekend. It's currently sitting at over 2,000, almost 3,000 words more than where I was in draft 2 at this point. I'm over 32,000 words and like 103 pages of content, but I did realize that there was something I think I needed to add in a little earlier. I also did though get my laundry done, and that's why I was able to head back. It's about just after 4 o'clock right now in the afternoon. I have read more Fire and Blood. I think at this point I've read about almost 50 pages. Also, one last section of actual text, and then there's the back that has all of like the, you know, family lines and things of that nature. Other than finishing this, there's not much else I can really say at this point, so I am going to leave this here. I will give you guys my star rating for Fire and Blood in next week's vlog. If you guys did enjoy this vlog, please let me know. I really tried to make these a little bit more aesthetic at times, where I'm like doing different things here and there, so let me know if you guys are liking that. I know this is probably still going to be really ridiculously long, but I like longer vlogs. I find that they're more fun, so that's why I like to make longer vlogs, even though it takes me forever to edit them. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys are participating in the owls, let me know how you are doing so far after the first couple days, not even really a full week, just the first couple days. So if you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!